I've built a franchise that now serves over 10,000 kids every year, and we've never once had to compete on price. In this video, I'm going to show you how to charge what you're worth, even when customers say, that's too expensive. Because if you keep lowering your prices just to win customers, you're not building a business, you're slowly killing it. So stick with me, because I'm going to walk you through a 5-step blueprint for exactly how to handle those pricing objections, what to say, what not to say, and how to turn too expensive into a confident, let's do it. Guys, welcome back to Courtside Conversations. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here. We've got some weekly listeners that have been tuning into the episodes every Friday. A shout out to you, Miguel. I hear that you've been watching all the videos. You're awesome. Okay, so picture this for a second. You get a phone call, right? The parent says, or whatever, any client or potential customer, whatever product or service that you're selling, they call you up and say, you say to them, look, our prices are $195. That includes 8 weeks. You list all the description of your product. And then the customer says, oh, that's a little bit expensive. The person down the road is offering it for $150. Now, in that situation, how would you respond to that? Would you get defensive and say, yeah, but they don't do that, but they don't do that, but they don't do that? Would you drop the price and say, yeah, okay, well, we can drop the price. We can do $150, no worries at all. Or would you just talk and ramble on for half an hour about your product or service? Yeah, but we're the lead, we can do this. This is a common issue that business owners face. And I faced this problem very early on when I was coming to the market with my product or service. Parents will look at our service and say, well, hold on, they're $195 plus $45 training kit. The competitor down the road is offering it at $150 for the exact same program, 8 weeks. Why should I go with you and not them? In this video, we're going to talk about price and value and the difference between price and value and everything that you need to know so that when a customer challenges your pricing or asks about your pricing, you not only know how to respond to it in the best way, but you also convert them into a loyal and winning customer. Let's get into point number one. Okay, point number one. Price does not equal value. They are not the same. They are completely different. But a lot of people think price and value are the same. They are not. And I'm going to prove that to you right now. I, for example, get a massage. Every Wednesday, I spend $85 and I get a weekly massage. It's the best investment on my health and on my well-being. It really supercharges me for the second part of the week. My brother sees that and says, what a waste of money. Why would you spend $85 every week getting a massage? Now, the price is the same. My $85, my brother's $85 is the same. But the value is where we're seeing different. Value is based on the individual. It is their perception. That's why it's so different. That's why I justify spending $85 on a massage, because I get value from that, whilst my brother doesn't get value from that. So the point I'm trying to make here is price is the same. Currency, dollar for dollar, is the same. But the value that you receive is not the same, because the value is based on what the person perceives. And you need to understand that distinction. The only time we purchase something, a product or a service, is if the value exceeds the price in our opinion. If the value does not exceed the price, we will not purchase the item. That's when a customer says, that's too expensive. When a customer says, that's too expensive, what they're trying to say, in other words, is I don't see the value for what I'm paying for. Just understand that for a second, right? A customer says that's a bit too expensive. They're not talking about price. What they are saying is I don't see the value for what I am paying, because if they did see the value for what they are paying, they would purchase the item. So point number one that you need to understand is price does not equal value. And another example, just to hone it in, take for example luxurious cars, a car that's worth $100,000, $200,000. I don't see any value in driving a car. I think it's a waste of money. I think it's an absolute waste. But there are people who worship their cars and love their cars and will gladly purchase $100,000, $200,000 vehicle. Is that wrong? No. They just value those items. They value the feeling they get when they're in the car, being behind the wheel, what people think of them. That's what they value. So understand, if value exceeds the price, the customer will purchase your product and service. Later on in the video, I'm going to show you how you can demonstrate the value of your product or service. Let's move on to point number 2. Point number 2, the franchise pricing trap. Now, if you're in a franchise, if you are a franchisee, most of the time, the price is out of your control. It is set by head office. You might not like the prices. You might want them to be higher. You might want them to be lower. But effectively, it's set at the head office level, right? You can't do anything about it. And just imagine for a second if the franchisees were allowed to set the individual prices. You know what would happen? Anytime a customer would call a franchisee, they would drop the price. This franchisee would drop the price. There'll be internal wars, right? And the customer will just go from franchisee to franchisee saying, you know what, I'll go to this one because I'll get a cheaper service. And there'll be cannibalism internally in the network. Now, if you're a business owner, that's awesome. You can set your own pricing. But what you need to understand, if you're in a franchise, the pricing is already set by the head office level. And franchisees will come to us and say, Emile, I want to give a discount here. I want to give a $20 discount, a $30 discount. Can we do a special promo? And the problem and the reason why we knock back that all the time is me and Greg, our operations manager, we say, we're not going to fight on price. We are going to demonstrate value. And part of that is training and educating the franchisees that it's not the price that is the point of discussion here. The parent is not finding value for what they are paying for. And it's my job and our job at head office to communicate to the franchisees how they can demonstrate the value of their service. Because if we're going to give discounts here, discounts there, discounts there, discounts there, franchisees are just going to come to us, and whenever a customer just says, that's too expensive, boom, discount, 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 and it's going to be a race to the bottom. So if you're in franchising, just understand the pricing is always set at the head office level, but if you're your own business owner, you can set your own pricing. Let's move to point number 3 now. Point number 3, the problem with discounting. Now, I don't blame you if you do discount your products or service. Early on in my business career, if somebody told me that's too expensive, the first instinct would be, I'll just drop the price, right? Because we're not educated on how to demonstrate value. Here's a problem when you drop your price. There's actually a bunch of problems. Number 1 is the customer. Now, you might not know this. The customer automatically believes that you don't have faith in your product or service. If you drop the price, the signal that you're giving to your potential customer is, I don't believe you're going to get value from this, so I'm going to meet your demands. That's exactly what you are saying, and you might not say it verbally, but that's the message the customer sends. And guess what? Don't be surprised if you drop your price, your customer asks for another discount later on for this service, another discounts, because you've just opened up the platform to the world of discounts. The second problem is you are now entering a pricing war. If you discount your product or service, you are entering a pricing war. And you know what that means? You're attracting bargain hunters. What do bargain hunters do? Bargain hunters come into your business, they get a quote from 50 different people, they see who can drop their price to the lowest, and they go to that business owner. And guess what that's going to do to you? That's going to kill your margins. When you drop your price, you slaughter your profit margins. And the only thing that keeps businesses alive is profit margins. When you discount, you hit those profit margins, boom, because your expenses stay the same, right? Your cost to deliver the product or service stays the same. Nothing changes there, but you have just slaughtered your bottom line profit. That's what you do when you discount your product or service. But the main thing is, and the worst of all, is you enter a pricing war, right? That's what you do now. You're entering the game of pricing war. And you know what that is? It's a race to the bottom of your negative profit margins. You don't want to play that game. Don't play the pricing game. Don't play the pricing war. It's a very difficult war. And you know what? A lot of businesses that solely focus on discounting their products or service, they're not long-term. They're not around still, right? Because profits are the fuel of the business. So you don't want to play that pricing war. You want to play the value game. And I'm going to show you that in one of my points next. You want to play the value game. But that's the problem when you enter the pricing war. Let's move over to the next and probably one of the most powerful points. The other day I was speaking to a lady and she was telling me that she's run some hypothetical profit and loss numbers and she wanted to run them by me. So I said, okay, what do you have? I've calculated, Emile, the court hire fees to be about $200 an hour. And then I said, whoa, hold on. Your numbers are really off. And so I said, where did you get those numbers from? Oh, look, I assumed. Never assume. I've created a franchise profit calculator where you can input real numbers, court hire fees, coaches' wages, how many kids you have in the program, so you can find out what your potential profit is per class. Click the link below to use the calculator. I hope you find it useful. And point number 4, sell the value, not the price. I'll give you a classic example of this. Right, a couple of months ago, went to purchase my Mustang car. It's been a goal for the last 6 years of mine to get this car. I said to myself this year, if I achieve a certain financial goal within my business, I'm going to reward myself with a Mustang. Now for me, the most important thing for my Mustang, my non-negotiables, was it had to be black and it had to be a convertible. I couldn't care less about whatever else, V8 engine, any of this stuff. Now when I went to Dean, right, it was a private seller, his name was Dean. I went to purchase the Mustang from him. He was giving me the whole talk about the Mustang, right? It's got a ceramic golding. He's a German, God bless him, he's got a German accent. He would say, there's a ceramic golding that spent $2,000-$3,000. I did this. Do you think, I'm not a car expert, do you think I knew what a ceramic golding is? I had no idea what it was. It actually went right over my head, right? That didn't appeal to me. The only thing I wanted to see is that what the car looked like with the top off, because it was a convertible, it had to be black, that's all I wanted. But he was talking about the features of his products that, as a consumer for me, I didn't find value in that. I don't find value in a ceramic coating. I wanted a convertible. So my message here is, if we are going to sell on value, and value is based on the individual, it's not price, it's based on the individual and it changes from person to person, you need to ask questions to discover your customer's pain point. And then you talk their language. And then when you talk their language, boom, instant straight away, they're going to see their value, right? So the only way for you to demonstrate value of your product or service is to ask questions that's going to reveal your customer's pain points. And when you trigger, believe me, when you trigger their pain points, they'll buy straight away because they've seen value in your product. Now I want to give you another example here, right? When you're looking at pricing, for example, if you go onto our website, you'll see that we charge $195 for an 8-week program. If a parent goes onto another competitor's website and sees $150 for 8 weeks, same duration, 8 weeks, one's $195, one's $150. They are purely comparing the two prices, the two programs based on price. They don't know anything about the program, anything about the delivery. They don't know anything. They're purely comparing what they see on the screen. So when a customer or when somebody calls you, what we do and what we educate our franchisees to do is to uncover questions, right? For example, Johnny, hey, welcome. What can I help you with? Oh, my child is shy. Okay, so it's important that he builds or she builds social skills. Yep, okay. And then you uncover pain points. And then when they find out about your product or service and how they can help with their pain points, they'll purchase from you. Because our program, we've got structured and accredited coaches. We have small ratios. We have a structured class, right? Our age group is broken down our programs are broken down into age groups so that a 5-year-old's not on the same court with the 10-year-olds. But the parent doesn't know this, right? A parent, when they're checking on their website and comparing A and B, they don't know this. It's your job as the business owner to communicate value to your customer. So I want to summarize this point because this is the most important point. When you're demonstrating value, remember, price is the same. $1 is the same. Value is based on the individual's perception. And for you to talk about your value, for you to demonstrate your value that you're offering, you must ask questions to discover what your customer's pain point is and then base your solution on that. And believe me, when you have touched on your customer's pain points, they will put out their wallet. They don't care what the price is. Before I wrap up point number 4, just some other little cheeky tactics that you can use. If somebody still doesn't believe in the value that you're offering, you can do other strategies without reducing your price. You can give them a bonus 1 week subscription, bonus 1 month subscription. We tell our franchisees, hey, we're not going to drop our prices, but offer a free basketball, offer a bundle pack, offer a holiday camp. These don't cost much, but in the mind of a parent can add tremendous value and say, okay, awesome, I'd love that. So you can figure out strategically, look at your offering and see where you can add bonuses to demonstrate more value to your customer. And the other thing that I love is you can trial. If somebody doesn't see value over the phone, let them trial your product or service. We bring parents in for a trial. When their child steps on the court and they have an amazing 1 hour experience, all of a sudden the parents' apprehensions now is out the window. We're going with you, we're paying, how much do we have to pay, let's get it going. So offer a trial. And the last suggestion as well is if you offer a guarantee, that instantly adds a tremendous amount of value to your product or service. If you can do some type of guarantee that reduces the risk from the customer, makes them feel more reassured, you're gonna convert a lot more customers. Something I've tried recently in my area, you're gonna laugh at this, it's called the Emile Deal Guarantee. And what the Emile Deal Guarantee is if a parent signs up to my program, they do all 8 weeks of my classes, and either them or their child doesn't enjoy the program, we'll instantly refund the total amount of the program. That's how confident I am in my service. That's how confident I am that the child's going to have the best time in our program. So see if you can offer some type of guarantee that's going to risk reverse and help convert the customer. Let's get into the next point. Point number 5. Oh my goodness, this is crucial. Never bag your competitors. You know when I know if there's a business owner and he's kind of still new to the game of business, a customer will challenge their pricing and he'll bag the competitor. Yeah, but I wouldn't go with them because they've got 1-star reviews and they don't do this and they don't do that. It's the worst trait that you can have as a business owner when you bag your competitors. Professionals never bag their competitors. And you know what's funny? I used to do that. Yeah, but I used to do that when somebody would call me. I'd say, yeah, but they don't do this, they don't do this, they don't do this. Got a really good lesson on that actually from my mother. She said, Emile, never bag your competitors. Always put the limelight on them. Mrs. Johnson, fantastic choice. I hear they are a good providers. However, this is where we are different compared to them. What do you think? It puts you in such a really high status when you don't bag your competitors, because I know so many business owners that get really defensive when a customer compares them to someone else and they bag that competitor. Never bag your competitor. In fact, put the limelight on them, right? I'll give you that script again. Mrs. Johnson, I hear they are good, excellent choice. Here is how we are different to them. We like to do da, 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 da. Is that important for you? Boom, straight away. So never bag your competitors. Point number 6, if you can manage to do this, parents or customers or clients of yours, they're never gonna challenge your pricing. You wanna start to build strong reviews. I'll tell you why. If somebody goes online and they're searching for your product or service and they see one competitor who's got 5 reviews, and another one that has 300 reviews, automatically, they're not even gonna look at that company anymore. They're gonna go straight to the one with 300 reviews. That builds instant authority, instant trust, instant credibility. The chances of them challenging your price when you've got 300 plus 5-star reviews, raving customers, goes down dramatically. So if you want to convert people more and have less people challenging your prices or comparing you to your competitors, start building testimonials and Google reviews. Let's get into the final point. Okay, so the final point that you can use, I love this. I got this from Alex Hormozy and I use this because when I'm selling franchises, they're a big ticket item. At the moment, a franchise is about 55K plus GST. And I've actually used this a couple of times. Feel free to use it. It kind of adds a little bit of humor to it. When a customer says, look, can you go lower? Can you drop it 5 grand? Can you drop it 10 grand? Can you drop it 3 grand? Say this, Mrs. Johnson, unfortunately, I can't drop it. However, I can go higher if you want. And straight away, you'll get a laugh and a giggle or break any of the tension. And then you can go towards demonstrating the value of your product or service. So team, that brings us to the end of the video. If you got value from this, please drop something in the comments, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you did get value from this video. Guys, if there's one takeaway that I want you to take away from this video is do not think price and value are the same. They are not. If value exceeds price, the customer purchases from you. If price exceeds value, they say, nah, too expensive. Your job as a business owner and operator is to communicate the value of your product and service. Thanks for tuning in. See you next episode.